Yo, what's going on, about your boy here with a brand new video for you guys. Say, welcome to the channel. Hope you all feeling good, looking, smelling good, because your boy is back. Another video for you guys. Saying today I wanted to have a little discussion video. We haven't done a discussion video for FC26 at all, so why not start today with one about a very, very common topic, which is the defense in the game. Now, defense can be a little subjective. There's people out there who are always going to tell you like, oh, it's a skill issue, or I don't have any issues with defending and things like that, but most people are having issues with defending, and I'm here to tell you why, and most likely the reason that you are having issues with defending and how you can combat it and things of that nature. The gameplay is just a backdrop from my second channel, my second account. I was doing like a little Rivals grind because I haven't touched Rivals on that account literally since like the beginning of Team of the Season of 25. So in 2026 is very, very far behind when it comes to things like, you know, divisions and things of that nature, but I think they're here nor there. So defending, the biggest reason you're having issues defending is two things. One, bruiser tackles are very, very nerfed to the ground, so there's a lot lower chance of you know, physically players off the ball. You know, doesn't matter how high your physical is, doesn't matter how high your defense is, if you're shoulder to shoulder, you know, it's kind of more of a, you know, 50-50, if not a 45, you know, 55 situation when it comes to, you know, whether you will or won't perform a bruiser tackle and win the ball. That's one of the big things. Another one is standing tackles basically don't exist. Now, if you play against, like, you know, the AI squad battles on world class or, you know, higher, you'll feel like that's not true because, you know, they freaking have crazy, you know, standing tackles and crazy bruiser tackles. It's like, that's the AI, you know, they have built-in DEA to freaking be able to like, you know, do certain things. But for you personally, the reason you're having a hard time with defending in this game is because bruiser tackles are nerfed to the ground, and standing tackles basically just don't exist. In 25, spam tackles were a very, very big thing. And one thing I always say is developers are heavy-handed, whether it's heavy-handed with a nerf or heavy-handed with a buff. They heard everyone's complaints about how broken and annoying spam tackles were in 25, and so they nerfed standing tackles themselves into the ground for 26. That's not to say you can't play defense. We'll get into, you know, the best way to defend, you know, later on, but those are the two biggest reasons why you are having a hard time defending. It's not just, you know, how good attacking is or how good attacking AI is, how fast players are, but it's also predominantly the fact that bruiser, like your A tackle, let's just go, I don't know what it's called for PlayStation, but if you're on PC or Xbox, your A tackle and your B tackle, those things have been nerfed drastically into the ground, and thus it's harder for you to like defend because, you know, a lot of people, they don't even spam tackles, they just will use bruiser, you know, to get people off the ball, and now they just can't really do that. Maybe that all changes as the year goes on, and, you know, people start getting, you know, the bruiser play styles, because you gotta remember at this time of year, a lot of defenders, even meta defenders, don't have that many defending play styles, let alone play style pluses. So as the year goes on, you start seeing more people with more playstyles and more playstyle pluses. Maybe that all changes. But right now, it just seems like, you know, the A tackles are nerfed to the ground and the B tackles are nerfed to the ground. Now, when it comes to what the best way to defend is, that would be patience. You know, instead of, you know, looking to do an A tackle or B tackle, the game kind of wants you to just slow down and just keep people in front of you and just hope they make a mistake into your player. AKA, the game wants you to jockey. Jockey is the play style for defenders this year. Anticipate, you can kind of throw in there as well, but when it comes to your back four, you want them to have jockey. You want to you kind of just want to, like, you know, just jockey the entire time you're on defense, because at that point they're just going to go right into you. You're gonna win the ball. And the funny thing about it is, back when EA flew out content creators, you know, the big ones at least, to Vancouver, there was one content creator who said that jockey will be the best, you know, form of defending in S26, and that was Neil Guides. Neil Guides had a video a couple months ago, again back when they flew out creators to play the game, that he thinks jockey will be the most must-have play style in 26. And here we are, the game comes out Friday, it's being recorded on Wednesday, and jockey is, you know, what you need. You gotta jockey in this game. You know, you're not spending Tim and B, you're holding left trigger, right trigger as well with a bit of a jockey sprint. That's how you want this game wants you to defend, at least right now. Things could change later on. EA has all the data. Maybe they see like, oh, the offenses are just crazy right now. Let's buff, you know, A tackles, let's buff B tackles, things of that nature. So who knows how the game's defending will be in 2 months, you know, when it comes to like that first big patch, which could be in November. So jockey is what you want to do. You want to be patient, you want to jockey. That's how you really want to play defense in this game. At the same time, if you know for a fact you're someone who's not very good at defending, you don't want to play on anything higher than balanced depth. You know, you kind of want to stay around that 60 and below area, because you want your defense to maintain its shape. That's the big thing. Maintaining your shape defensively will allow you to play better defense. Now, better defense does not mean lower scores. Understand that you can be a good defender and allow a lot of goals, because, you know, plot twist, if two good players play against each other, goals are going to get scored. That's just how sports works. You know, if you watch NFL and you see the Buffalo Bills play against the Baltimore Ravens, it's not going to be a freaking, you know, a 3-6 freaking game. It's not going to be a 10-6 game. It's going to be like 42 to freaking 38. You know, it's gonna be a lot of goals. You watch freaking a lot of touchdowns. You watch basketball and you see freaking, you know, the Lakers play the Celtics. You know, it's not gonna be freaking, you know, 89 to freaking 76. So it's gonna be over 200 freaking points scored in the entirety of the game combined, scored, not individually. You know, just a general thought process. No matter what sports you're watching, when two good teams play, you know, there's going to be a lot of scoring going on, and that happens with video games. If two good players are playing against each other, they're going to allow goals, and so will they. The good defense is in the individual stoppages that you get along the way. You know, the defense that you did to stop it from being a loss, defense that you did to where, you know, you have a 2-goal cushion or 3-goal cushion, and they didn't get that goal because you were well placed when it comes to your defensive, you know, placement. I always say this: marking is a skill. So if you're using your brain and marking correctly, you might prevent a goal because of how well you marked. You know, but you're playing a video game, so there's 50-50 things that happen in the game. There's situations that you can't control. Maybe your keeper dives to the right when it should have freaking dived to the left, or not dived at all, because sometimes the AI will just do shit where, you know, maybe someone freaking takes a bad shot and the AI reacts to that bad shot. Because react to that bad shot, now a goal happens because their keeper's not even in a position to even stop anything, because they dove out of the way for some magical reason. It's a video game, shit happens. But just generally, it's not supposed to be like a long video. If you want to be better at defending, understand, you know, what has been changed with the game's defense. Understand that what your information is doesn't freaking matter. You know, like you'll see people tell you, oh, just do this, do like no. If you're not good at defending fundamentally, it doesn't matter what your defense is. It doesn't matter what your tactics are. You yourself have to be good at defending. You know, so I've seen people say, just play 5-back. I faced a 5-back in the daily knockout tournament. Made that guy quit within the first 20 minutes. I went up 3-0 in the first 20 minutes of the game. He left. That's not me saying I'm that good of a player. I'm a good player. You know, I'm someone who can easily, you know, be div 2, and if I play like a meta rat, easily get elite. But I just don't care. So this person, he had a 5-back, he got wrecked. It doesn't matter how many defenders you got. It matters if you can defend. You know, because I always say this when it comes to like playing against a 4-2-1-3 or playing against a 5-back. If you're a fast player, if you play quickly, you'll be able to beat those kind of squads, because they can't defend that quickly. You know, those are formations that are based on, you know, getting people into position to defend. So, you know, 4-2-1-3, for example, that's a formation that usually has this, you know, three forwards push up, a cam push up, and the two DMs also push up because they're on build up, so they do get involved in a bit of the offense a bit. If you're someone who's fast, who plays a fast style, and you're good at passing, you will eventually freaking be able to break those down, because those DMs won't be in position. You'll be able to like just cut them up, as I like to call it, when it comes to like, you know, just do a counter attack without having even have your stats on counter. But so yes, that's a very basic generic way to like talk about defending and why you're having a hard time defending. You know, some of y'all are, you know, you were good at defending last year, and you will say like you didn't spam tackles, but now you're having a hard time. It's just, you know, kind of just got to relearn the game when it comes to, you know, favoring jockey over trying to do, you know, tackles. You know, being more patient instead of, you know, trying to just get in there. One thing you notice about my gameplay, I don't do a lot of slide tackles in general. Like even last year and in 24, didn't do a lot of slide tackles. I'm very like And sometimes I'll see my biggest defensive flaw is that I don't do it enough, because I'm very like cautious of drawing fouls. So yeah, I don't do a lot of slide tackles, but I do very well timed slide tackles where it's like, okay, there's no way I don't win this ball, so I'm going to just do it and you know, play some defense. It's all about timing. You know, at the end of the day, when it comes to defending, just like attacking, it's all about timing. And with rep, you'll get the timing down. So just play the game. The best way to get better at defending in this game is to play the game. You know, play as much as you can, whether it's squids, whether it's rush, whether it's the knockout tournaments, whether it's clubs, whether it's rivals or champs, no matter what you're doing. Just play the game, and you'll eventually, you know, will start picking up. Watch your own gameplay. Like, even if you don't have like an Elgato or things to record your gameplay with, most platforms like the PS5 and the Xbox have a built-in recording function that can allow you to record like what, a minute, I think. Record your gameplay, record the goals that you allow, and look at what you did on defense to point it out, because it's easy to miss it when you're in the game. When you watch someone's gameplay, you can see all their flaws, you know, and that's how we all are. If I'm watching Boris, I can see the flaws he makes. If you watch as me, you can see the flaws that I make. It's easy to see someone's flaws when you're watching their gameplay. Watch your own gameplay and see what you're doing wrong, and you'll be like, oh, that's what I fucking did right there. It's not that EA screwed me. Is that move right there that I did that played me that hurt me. Not to say that EA can't fuck you over, because EA can. Some of the things AI does in the game is very brain dead and stupid. For example, if your fullback is not necessarily too far away, but if your fullback is like at a distance, your center backs will come out of position to try to defend someone like on the wings, and that's very stupid, because the game's not giving your fullback the chance to actually make up that space. Fullbacks are fast. Most people are going to have pacey fullbacks. You can catch up to someone who's on the wings or the fullback. EA doesn't need to pull your center back out of position to get that cover. You gotta stop that. Come out with a patch to stop the AI from just leaving their position. Unless someone hits like, you know, right bumper to do two-man press, there should be no situation where a center back just leaves their positioning to try to like cover somebody else. Just at all. It leaves gaps. And there's other situations in the game that can happen where you're against with center backs, where the game's AI will just make them part like the Red Sea to allow someone to come up the middle, they can eat a shot on goal. So yeah, there can be situations where you don't do anything wrong, the game does something wrong, but again, at the end of the day, more often than not, let's say 90% of the time, your issues on defense is yourself, not the game. Work on those things, look at those things in your own gameplay, and go from there. I've been waiting to see your art. You all have the rest of your day. Y'all stay safe. Good luck in your games. Good luck in your pack pools. I'll see you guys. I'm out of here. Deuces.